Hey everybody, this is Nathan McNair. I'm one of the owners of Pandasaurus Games. I wanted to talk very briefly about counterfeit games in the industry and how big the problem is. For us, it's pretty big problem, especially the Mind. So the Mind sells, I don't know globally how many units, but for us, it's 100,000-ish units a year, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less depending on the year. But we do quite well with it. It's a high volume game. Globally, obviously, the numbers are going to be higher. For us, we're not the original publisher of the Mind. We license it from a company called NSV in Germany. They're the original publisher. Obviously, Wolfgang Warsch designed the game. NSV paid for all the artwork for the game, so we don't own any of that. We're just a partner that distributes and publishes the game in certain territories. Crucially, for the story I'm about to tell, we don't publish the game in the UK. We don't have the rights there. A company called Coiled Spring does, and that's important. So this is a tool that I use called IP Moat. There's a bunch of these. You can kind of, let's share the dashboard. This is just the one we use. You can kind of see, we're trying to pull down 150 listings right now. We've pulled down 252 in the last week. We're looking at 38 marketplaces where games get sold. I've got 3 IPs filed. I actually need to file some more in there. Right now I've got 28 products loaded in that it checks for, which are kind of the high volume stuff that's worth doing. And these are, I've filtered this down to removals from AliExpress that we're trying to make that have not successfully happened yet. So how do I fight a counterfeit copy of a game? Well, if we're the original publisher of the game, it's easy. We own the art, we own the name, we own all kinds of stuff. We could just pull it down, not that hard. But here, I don't own this. I don't own the Mind. I don't own that rabbit. I don't own anything here except I do own, legally, the words Pandasaurus Games in the context of making games. And so in this case, so $4.31, it's shipping from, I don't know exactly where, China, I'm sure. This game's not made in China. This game's made in Germany. $4.31 is shockingly close to the amount that I pay to import this game. I get a bit less than that, but when I'm importing it, the designer is getting paid, the original publisher is making some money, the printer is also making some money for printing the games, and this is kind of the problem with counterfeits. On top of being bad quality, is everyone who deserves money, like the designer. Wolfgang Warsch, super talented guy, doesn't get it when these counterfeits are what's sold. So in this case, they're using my old logo, which is always insulting. It's like, come on, at least use the new one. We paid a lot of money for it. Here's the new one on the game face-to-face. So this is going to be pretty open and shut case. We'll get that one pulled down pretty easily. This one, they've gotten savvy, and they do this a lot. So if you ever see a game and there's not anywhere that you can see it, that there's a logo that on the back of the box, which they're not going to show off here. There has to be contact information for the publisher. It's a legal requirement. You have to know how to get in contact with us. I don't know. These guys got poker chips down here. This is clearly just like a stock image that they're superimposing stuff on, because you wouldn't hold the level. Look at that. You wouldn't hold the level 1 card and a ninja star. That's not how the game works. This one will be harder to pull down. The good news for us is some of these photos are edited photos that we own the rights to. I recognize them. Like, these are photos that we paid for, and we can prove that we paid for this image, and it's just been altered to remove our logo. So I think we'll be successful there. This guy here, and this is the danger. So this is, kind of step back for a second. This is the pipeline of counterfeit games, as my husky breaks into the room. He's actually a husky. Hey, buddy. This is kind of the danger with counterfeit games. Is so the pipeline is, something like AliExpress, Temu, you name it. You're going to see them here. These are quite cheap, and they're usually 424 are available at this price. So somebody has scanned these cards in China, and they are just making them and selling them, and they're selling them at pretty low prices. This one's not that low, but you can see down here. Here's one where they've covered our logo up with a barcode, and then like saying like there's no contact information, made in China. This is fake. Oh, did they goof anywhere? No, they've done a good job. Nope, there we go. Got him. Pandasaurus Games logo right there. So we'll get this taken down. This is 99 cents. So what really happens is somebody buys bulk quantities of these games. And so like if somebody's buying a game on Alibaba or Temu, they generally know they're not getting a real copy if you're a gamer, because you kind of know that's going to be a knockoff. But what they'll do is they'll take these knockoffs and they'll put them on other platforms, eBay, Amazon. I even know somebody who has seen Counterfeit Games at a physical store. It's not in the United States, but they went to an airport where they live and like walked into a shop, and games that they are the publisher of, they were sitting there staring at counterfeits. And so, and that store might not have even known it happened. They may have got it from an independent wholesaler. Who knows? So yeah, so this is the danger, is they wind up elsewhere where people don't realize that they're getting a counterfeit. And you're going to get a few things. Number one, they haven't been safety tested. So who knows if it's safe? No way to say. They haven't had any safety testing done. I've had counterfeit copies of the mine sent to me so I can help take them down. If they smell bad, ink rubs off on your fingers, there is no product safety testing. No one knows how they've been made, what they've been made of. Quality of the game is often very, very shoddy. And so I don't know what product someone's going to get. They might not know they're buying a counterfeit. Amazon's actually great. They're really easy to work with on taking down counterfeits. So they're actually a great partner. There's not very many counterfeits, or they don't last that long on Amazon anymore because of a lot of stuff, a lot of tools they've given us. But, I don't want someone to have a bad experience with a game. I don't want them to get a poor quality version of a title. And this is Amazon UK, and this is an example of a clear counterfeit that we're fighting, because I can't sell this game in the UK. Actually, this is Germany. I really can't sell this game in Germany because NSV is a German publisher. They have the rights to this game in Germany. I have no authorization to sell this. The seller here is actually me. Let me see if I can move this to. I need to change my country to. All right, I'm in the German, so it's going to be Deutschland. Yeah, let's see if it'll show me if I put Austria. Yeah, here we go. So now that I'm in Austria, the seller is Pandasaurus Games, all uppercase. Spoiler, this isn't me. This isn't my company. This is a guy who is impersonating us in the UK. We're actually been fighting him for a while. It's this guy, Pandasaurus Ltd. We are spending a healthy person's salary over the last 2 years fighting this person. So this was a group, and the group Ltd. And then in May of 2024, they changed their name. So, and we're fighting them, we're winning. It's fine, but it costs a lot of money, a lot of time. He did this because people were using exactly the trick I just said, like, hey, I can pull down a counterfeit because they're using my company logo, right? So he got savvy because he was counterfeiting copies of the Mind into the UK, probably moving a lot of volume. I don't really know how much because I don't sell the game in the UK, but quite a bit, I would imagine. I got contacted by our partners in Germany, our partners in the UK, and they're like, what's going on here? And I was like, I have no idea. Hired some lawyers in the UK. We've been fighting him for a while. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to get a trademark for our name so that he can argue that he is in fact Pandasaurus, and it keeps us from using this tool like IP Moat to pull his listings down. And you could actually see if I go to invalid, like right here. No, that's the wrong one. Rejected. If you go here, it says the clients own the listing. So this is actually a nice little trick he's been pulling. Uh, it's not that successful. We have worked for Amazon. We pulled most of his listings down already through Amazon, not through like this tool is not going to get it done because he's trying to argue that he is Pandasaurus. He's not. He lives in Nigeria. He has no connection with me. He used to have a website. I think it got pulled down probably finally because we've been fighting that. It was just like he hadn't even bothered. It looked like he just bought a template on WordPress or something, and most of it was still boilerplate like lorem ipsum text. I think one of the pages said that they did architecture. It doesn't matter, but this is kind of what we deal with on the regular: is tens of thousands of copies of counterfeits being produced in China for a game that's not even made in China. They're just scanning it, selling it, doing whatever they want, and then we have to spend a lot of time and a lot of money fighting this to make sure that we're protecting all of y'all, to make sure you're getting legitimate copies of our games. You know, the cost to the company, the software is, not the most expensive software on earth. I'm happy to pay for that to use it. The time commitment is several hours a week, I would say. I mean, right now, I don't think I have any listings to show y'all. Yeah, there's nothing, but like a lot of there's 0 infringements right now because I kind of cleared them out yesterday. They kind of come in waves, and some of them are easy to see. It's like, it's Alibaba. I don't sell games on Alibaba. These are all fake. Just get rid of them. But like eBay listings and stuff, I have to go through and I'm like, okay, is this a seller with an old copy of the mine that they're trying to sell, or is this somebody who I don't recognize? And it's a lot of work. Like sometimes you'll find it's like, oh, it's a game store. They're probably selling legitimate copies of these games just via eBay. But then sometimes you look and you go to the seller's other items and they're just selling like the most random stuff. And you're like, how did you get the mine? Then you start looking for like a country of origin, and you find out that it's from China, and then you have to try to fight it. It's just a lot of work, and you can see like it's not just us. We've got some version of cockroach poker down here. You can see somebody's got coup. It's really, I don't know for sure. Here's werewolves of down there. I don't even know what all these games are. There's more cockroach poker. So obviously that's a big hit. So like stuff that's going to get counterfeited for the most part, really popular card games. Like I don't know how much problem the op's having, but like I'm sure Flip 7 is being counterfeited, and they're probably spending a lot of time fighting that. And that's a lot of what we deal with regularly. I talk to a lot of publishers. It's a problem, and it's gotten a little bit better. The tools have gotten better to fight them, but it continues to be an issue. I know at one point there was some estimates out there that 60% of all sales on some online marketplaces were counterfeit. I don't think we've ever experienced quite that big of an issue, but it is real. And the arguments about not buying counterfeit games, number one, the designer's not making any money on that, and that's really unfair, right? The designer, beyond the physical cost of a game, obviously a lot of work goes into making a game, from the initial design, the play testing, the development, the art, the rule book editing, packaging up the product, the initial marketing, and everything that kind of goes in, either from our partner companies, our own company, the designers and the illustrators that we work with. All of that work, everybody involved in that deserves to make sure that they're being paid for that, because that's how they feed their families. And so obviously buying a counterfeit game means you're short-circuiting all the people in line who should be making some amount of money on the sale. Secondarily is safety concerns. You don't always know. Like I've said, I have seen some wacky stuff. I mean, sometimes it's hilarious. Like I've seen copies of Machikoro that have like wingspan dice in it for some reason. I'm like, well, these dice aren't going to work for Machikoro at all, but they're just shoving stuff in boxes. I've seen things where you get like Lego sharks instead of the shark that's supposed to be in like a copy of, I think it was Get Bit or Survive. I don't remember which game, but it was just like hilarious. Like sometimes it's funny, but also like you don't know if these are toxic things, right? And you don't know because we spend thousands of dollars every time we print a game doing safety testing. Like we burn stuff, we have it tested for toxins. We're doing all sorts of safety testing to make sure that the products that we deliver to you, if they're printed in the US, if they're printed in Germany, if they're made in China, we're spending that money with third-party testing to make sure that we know that product is safe for you. And then lastly, the big fear of mine is I don't want people to buy counterfeit products on purpose. I really don't want somebody to accidentally get themselves a counterfeit product. It's not a good feeling to get something that's not real. When you spent your money to buy a game and you wind up with a subpar product. And that puts us in a really weird position of they come into our customer service inbox with, hey, I got this game and the components are completely wrong. Like it's missing stuff. The cards are literally on like copy paper. And so like you literally can't do anything with them. They're like floppy or, the game smells horrible. It's clearly in bad quality. And then we're in a position of having to explain to that person, like, I'm really sorry, but the copy you purchased is not real. So I need you to go back to the seller and file a complaint. And with Amazon, they're great about it. If you were to get one, they take care of it. Like that's kind of something they take care of. They're also really, really good about helping us fight counterfeits in the first place. So it works really well there. But it's just as soon as there are counterfeits in the system, I don't know where they are. I don't know where they've gotten. And often the people that are importing them might even not know or really care that they're counterfeit. Maybe they do, but some of these people are just using software that kind of drop ship bros or whatever you want to call them, but like kind of the folks that like are just drop shipping all day on Amazon. A lot of the times they don't really know what they're selling. They're just like, oh, I've got this tool that tells me this is the volume that we're selling on this third-party website. I can sell 500 units a month or whatever, and I could sell it for $12 and I would win the buy box, or I would be the lowest bid or the lowest price for the game. So I would be the one that gets the sales, and the same tool is telling me that I can buy it on Temu or wherever for 15 cents a copy. And so they're seeing this like massive profitability. And so like they might not even really know or care what they're doing. They think it's just like a generic product. Like they're not really paying a lot of attention to where and how. And so that's how like a lot of these get into the market. Yeah, counterfeits. Not a thing I love dealing with, but a thing that I'm definitely going to have to deal with for the foreseeable future. All right. Thanks, y'all.